Yep, you bet.
All right, guys, we'll start with a quick opening statement and then go into y'all's questions.
Yeah, what a great defensive effort by UCF. I just felt like Coach Dawkins had the guys ready and competitive, and anytime we got to where we could put the game closer, I thought a big play was made by Johnson making a three, or a steal by Sellers and getting a layup. I mean, anytime we felt like we were kind of getting close, I thought one of their guys stepped up and made a really great play. We had a hard time guarding them in the interior, and then ultimately, in these kind of games, it feels like if we can make threes, we can find a way to counter punch. But we weren't able to do that, and UCF had a lot to do with that. Their defense, I thought, was great, and their change in defenses caused us problems, and we had a hard time keeping them out of the paint and protecting the basket.
Coach, it was a difficult night for some of your best scoring guards, Toussaint and Pops. What made it difficult for them tonight?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of length and athleticism out there, and the changing defenses, the press back to zone, the press into man, the full court pressure, and we had, I thought, some decent looks, probably a few of them a little too deep. And when those don't go in, you can kind of start to feel the squeeze of their defense and their rotations. And the one guy that really was shooting it well, Kerwin Walton, and I thought their attention to him was tremendous in the second half. They just didn't let him get loose. They blocked his shot to start the second half. And, we countered a few times and felt like maybe we could free it up. I thought Pop made one that thought the game might break open for him, but unfortunately their length and athleticism caused us problems all night.
Coach, were you surprised a little bit by the physicality of UCF today? I mean, the last game against West Virginia, they put up a lot of three-pointers, but this time around they seem to really want to attack you guys in the paint. Is that kind of something you were prepared for, or is that something maybe that surprised you a little bit?
No surprises. I mean, that's a great coach and a great team that understands. I watched enough of the press conferences going into it, and when I saw Johnson in the line, I just felt like he understood what it needed to be. I mean, you can tell they've got guys that are bought into winning and know what it takes to win. Now, can you do it every night? That's difficult to do, but I do feel like, their attention to putting pressure on us in the paint, and especially with us being a little light down there right now, was obvious and what we expected.
Coach, you talked a little bit about UCF's guards. They combined for 31. What was the challenge in guarding them today?
Well, I thought we did a decent job early, and then all of a sudden it's just stretches where they take the game over. And, one jumps out to me in particular. Sellers has that step-back three in the first half kind of in front of her. I thought we were doing a pretty good job guarding him, even though we were maybe fouling a little too much. And he shot that step-back going right and made it in front of Walton. And then I was like, okay, they're really trying to put pressure on us. And you can feel that they were sensing the urgency of winning the basketball game. And, those are two really good guards that we guarded, I thought, better last time and struggled tonight to defend them.
This is your first time coming down here, and playing UCF at Edition Financial Arena. Just what did you think of the whole fan atmosphere tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, Terry Mahajer gave me my first Division I opportunity at Arkansas State, and I'm extremely thankful for him. Coach Z, Carlos McCants, I mean, those are all guys that I'm familiar with and thankful for, and I know they know what it takes to win. The atmosphere here was fantastic. It was loud, and, you could tell it gave their guys a lift and a lot of respect for them.
You mentioned UCF's defense, but when you go through a long stretch without making a field goal, I think it was almost 9 minutes without a field goal. What were you seeing at that point that maybe needed to change, or what? How do you break through when you're just kind of slamming your head against the wall?
Yeah, good question. I think two things that I really felt like were important was you can't shoot shots going away from the rim against their size and athleticism. Even though you feel like maybe that's the only way to get it off, I think you got to still be aggressive and play through their chin and play toward the basket. And we had that stretch. We probably settled for some threes without getting paint, and then we weren't physical at moving toward the rim because you can't draw fouls, you can't do anything. But their length makes you want to shy away from it. and play away from the basket, but you got to do the the opposite of that. You got to be aggressive and play at the rim. And we did. I thought we did that early in the game, and we were able to draw some fouls. But as the game went on, we resisted. We went away from the resistance and can't play that way.
UCF, you guys were tied on the rebounding stat sheet. Although you guys were tied, it seems like UCF had a lot of timely rebounds, especially offensively and late in the second half. What was going on in that situation, and how were they able to come down with those?
Yeah, we guarded them late into the clock, and I think it's those obvious rebounds. The ball's coming off, and what can we do about it? And I think the fatigue factor over the course of the game settled in on us, and I thought they were rotating guys. And you look at the minutes played, Johnson played 32 minutes, but everybody else, was 20 to 19. And then you look at our minutes played, we're 39, 35, 40, 37. And I felt like the end of the game, it really wore on us. Their physicality and size and ability to rotate guys, finally got us on our heels enough, and we weren't able to play with the same physicality at the end.
Coach, I know Warren Washington has been hopping a little bit. He tried to give it a go tonight. What's his status? How's he feeling?
Yeah, it's hard to say honestly, because I was thrilled that he wanted to compete, and I know he loves his teammates. I know he wants to try, and unfortunately, it was probably more disruptive than it was helpful to start the game. And you could see on some movements that on his face that he just didn't feel like how it was going to work. And, you lose your aggressiveness when that happens and your flow, and he's such a good passer and he's got such a good feel for the game. We just weren't able to take advantage of that feel because you could tell he was trying, but it wasn't time quite yet.
Yeah.
How did Jennings getting into foul trouble early in the first half affect your guys' game plan?
Yeah, I mean, he had 4 fouls, and we tried to get him out before he got his fourth. When he got to 3, we just couldn't get stoppage, and I'd already used timeouts and didn't want to use a third timeout in the first half to get him out. But at that point, on the next possession, he comes down and gets a foul before we could get him stopped, and it's my fault. I didn't do a good enough job coaching tonight to help us in that situation. Should have got him out sooner.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all. Great atmosphere, great coaches, good team.